YouTube boxing's been going on for around 5 years now, and in that time period we had some massive, and I mean massive, fights that didn't actually happen. So today we're gonna be ranking the top 5 biggest YouTube boxing pullouts based on the hype around the fight and the names involved. Starting things off at number 5, we have Salt Poppy vs Blueface, which was supposed to be on the Prime card. When this fight was going to take place, Salt Poppy did lose his previous match to Anthony Taylor, but that fight was only 3 rounds and it was mostly hugging, which is expected when you're fighting the T-Rex midget. So because of this, and Salt Poppy still having 2 of the greatest knockouts in YouTube boxing history, his name was still talked about a ton and he had a lot of hype. As for Blueface, he did have 2 boxing matches before this fight, one in 2021 and another in April of 2023, which was against Ed Matthews. And although Ed Matthews is like 3'4", Blueface was dominating the entire fight, getting 1 knockdown, 3 standing counts, and then landing a big left hand followed up with an uppercut to end the fight. So because they both are pretty good fighters and the fans themselves wanted to see this fight, it goes in at number 5. Moving on to number 4, we have Jake Paul vs Seem Ruchman Jr. One reason why the lead up to this fight was so massive was because Jake Paul just came off a win against Tyron Woodley and he knocked him out cold, like face down, ass up. Like he literally destroyed him. So a lot of people were excited to see Jake Paul fight again, but another reason was because this was the first fight in YouTube boxing history where a YouTuber fought an actual professional boxer in Hasim who was 12-1 when this fight took place, or when it was going to take place. There was a lot of build up to the match as well, with both fighters going back and forth on social media, and also Jake Paul posting this video.
Hello, Hasim.
Whoa.
I'm coming for you, big papa. You big old heavyweight. You're done for.
The two also had a sparring match back in 2020 and the video got posted online, which brought even more eyes to the fight, but in the end, it all fell in the bin because Hasim was a little bit overweight. Couldn't he just be a little bit less overweight?
What the fuck did you just say?
But to be honest, Jake got so lucky that this fight was cancelled because this man would have got dropped faster than Swarms vs Ed Matthews. But coming in at number 3, we have King Kenny vs Anison Gibb, which was cancelled because the boxing company Kingpin went bankrupt. The entire Kingpin idea brought so many new eyes into YouTube boxing because we've never seen a tournament style format before where if you win your fight, you move on to the next round. King Kenny and Gibb both beat their previous 2 opponents in this tournament in a dramatic fashion, with Kenny ending his first fight in the 2nd round and then ending his 2nd fight by unanimous decision after completely dominating his opponent, dropping him in the 2nd round as well. Whereas for Gibb, I mean, he was dominating his first fight against Austin McBroom until he apparently got injured, but if we're being real, he definitely faked that to get out the fight. But then Gibb's 2nd opponent was Jarvis, where he won by unanimous decision after also destroying him the entire fight. So because they looked so impressive this entire tournament and both being in the top 10 YouTuber boxing list for 99% of people, this fight had a lot of attention and hype. But then it all went downhill and was cancelled on July 5th. Nah, but imagine building this massive company for YouTube boxing and then in the end you lose $3 to $4 million. Going over to number 2, we have KSI vs Dylan Dennis, which was cancelled because Dylan just got scared. This was actually gonna be one of the biggest YouTube boxing fights to ever take place because everyone hated Dylan Dennis and everyone wanted to see him lose, and also because KSI just pulls in massive numbers whenever he fights. Dylan was also promoting the fight really well on Twitter, as he was tweeting about how he's gonna destroy KSI literally every day. Conor McGregor also got involved in the fight on Twitter, with KSI replying to him and saying, "I'm sorry, but I'm about to do some serious damage to your boy." Nice grammar. But then Conor replied by saying, "Brother, you're literally a little nerd, I don't care," which got almost 40 million views and almost 100,000 likes. So everyone was just super excited to see Dylan Dennis get absolutely destroyed, but this man knew he was gonna see Queen Elizabeth if he did fight, so he decided to pull out just before the actual date. And finally, coming in at number 1, we have KSI vs Alex Wasabi, which was cancelled because Alex apparently got a concussion, which again wasn't really believed by most people. This was definitely the most famous pullout in all of YouTube boxing just because KSI and Alex Wasabi have been going back and forth at each other for the past 5 years. Initially, Alex Wasabi called out KSI 5 years ago to a boxing match, and this was his response.
KSI? I could easily beat KSI. 100%. I've met him in person. Just the way he walks is like slow. I'll be so much faster than him. I officially enter myself to be KSI's next opponent.
And then 4 years later, Alex Wasabi decided to have a boxing match with KSI's younger brother Deji, and he actually won by split decision, which made even more sense for KSI to fight him. So then the fight was signed for August 27th, and they had their face-to-face, which was online, and even that got more than 5 million views, with this clip going viral.
Alex, final thoughts here as we wrap up. Talk to me about just your final thoughts heading into this fight, and anything you want to say to your fans, Alex.
Fans! Fans! You think this guy has fans?
But the reason why a lot of people thought the injury was fake was because Alex Wasabi never showed any medical records, which honestly makes sense. I mean, he didn't have to go that far to explain his injury, but he did post a clip of him getting some tests done at the hospital. And then after the fight was cancelled and KSI announced that he was fighting 2 people in one night instead, he decided to tweet, "I'm actually so glad that Alex Wasabi pulled out, because this is way more exciting." And he got 109,000 likes, which shows how popular the fight pullout actually was. Now hopefully we don't see any more pullouts from massive YouTube boxing events in the future, like KSI vs Jake Paul or Slim vs Anyson Gibb, because I think we can all agree it just ruins the hype around the entire event. But this is my list for the top 5 biggest YouTube boxing fights we never got to see. Comment down below if you agree or disagree and what you would change, and make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to never miss future videos.
Hello, Hatham. I'm coming for you, Big Papa.